Welcome to Gone Gaming. Ashton is going to shit himself. Ashton?
There's a possibility. No, I'm good.
He's going to rub his pants all day and all you're going to hear is...
I know.
Are you lactose intolerant, Ashton?
No.
Because you had a giant tub of ice cream.
Yeah, with cookie dough and lots of caramel.
That sounds disgusting.
Sounds great.
Amazing.
Sounds like a sugar rush.
Marble slab. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Ashton...
Marble Slab?
Yeah.
That place, I wasn't crazy about Marble Slab.
I got coupons.
Of course you did. Welcome to Gone Gaming. I'm Luca.
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Matt.
And we are your uninformed source for gaming news.
So today's episode is going to be brought to us by the Nerding Nest again. Anyone have other sponsors to bring to the table?
No.
All right. So Nerding Nest, sponsor for this week's episode.
We're okay.
You know who I want to sponsor us? Maury. Maury
Maury.
Povovich, yeah, Maury. I would love for him to sponsor us.
You know, the funny thing about...
Proudly finding out fathers since 19 whatever.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I was in New York for, about a month, a few years back, and I'm like, I want to go watch one of these shows. I want to watch... my cousin's like, why don't you go see Stephen Colbert? I applied for Stephen Colbert, and they lived right beside where Letterman was filming. I forgot what the theater was called. And and I
Is it the Ed O'Sullivan Theater?
Ed Sullivan Theater.
Yeah.
That's it. But then I wanted the Maury tickets. Like I went online. They're in Connecticut, but I mean you can get a bus out to Connecticut. And I was out of town for the weekend, and I get a phone call. And it's like, I have no idea, but they're asking me my name and asking me if I want to go see a show. I'm like, I'm excited. I'm going to go see Maury Povich. And then it's weird that I'd be disappointed, but I got tickets to David Letterman. And it turns out it was within his last year. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, all I was thinking is, I want to go see Maury Povich.
Well, I don't blame you. I'd want to go see it too.
Because, there's nothing like that excitement when a person's told they're not the father. Because, that's a whole life of burden ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then you find out you don't owe this kid anything.
Exactly. It's like some say winning a sporting championship is the greatest accomplishment and achievement in one man's life. I think being told you are not the father
on Maury Povich, live
TV,
yeah,
nothing will top that.
Ashton seems like he's enjoying this conversation.
Well,
Yep.
I think it's a good conversation to have.
It's great for another podcast. So, what, haven't really talked about this last time. What have you guys been playing lately?
Nothing.
Oh, great. Thanks, Matt. All right, Luca, what have you been playing lately?
What have I been playing? I've been playing... No, Matt, that's
That's
not
not true. You've been playing Overcooked.
You
What's
and
wrong
I-
with you?
Barely playing Overcooked.
Did you play it?
You and I have been
Did you
playing
put a
Overcooked.
game in your system, turn it on, and play it? Thanks.
Not me. Last time I did it was last week.
Okay. Well, we did play Overcooked on Wednesday.
And how was it?
For about what? 15, 20 minutes?
I don't think I want to talk to this guy
30,
anymore.
40 minutes.
Was it 30, 40
Because
minutes?
Frank came by and he played a few rounds too.
Okay, and that was it. I played that one time.
Okay,
and
so we
that's
played
it.
How
Overcooked?
was Overcooked?
Overcooked was pretty good.
Yeah?
Matt, when he was talking about it, I didn't believe in it. I'm like, why do I care about cooking and serving people food?
Yeah.
And then you realize it's a pretty complex thing to do.
I've heard many good things about it, mainly from listening to some podcasts, and I've heard it can strengthen or break relationships.
Yeah, me and Matt are pretty good. So, I mean...
Actually, we did do a good job.
We're pretty solid. We're good teammates.
Yeah. So, Matt, outside of Overcooked, you haven't been playing much.
No.
I've recently platinum 3 games, which I'm proud of because it's something
That's
I like
it?
to do. Only 3, I know. Finished Final Fantasy 15. When I say finished, I platinumed it. I don't think there's a way to finish that game. So beat that. Beat Batman Telltale series.
Okay.
That was good.
You know what? I've always wanted to try those games. I tried a little bit of the first Walking Dead one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. But
I heard the Walking Dead one, I think, is the best one they do. Batman was a bit broken,
Yeah.
which I heard and they still didn't fix.
That's the thing with Batman games, especially if you buy them on PC.
Yeah. And then cheap, easy one, Rocket League. I finally
You did that
had
one?
to platinum, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you did Titanfall because you said 3, and
No.
that's an easy one to platinum.
And all it was is I had to collect 150 items as my last one. And the game doesn't tell you how many you have. You have to manually go and count them, which I thought was a pain. So I just played matches, really easy ones, scored a goal here, let it die for 5 minutes and.
I think I platinum Rocket League too, but
you did a while ago.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And that's been eating up. Probably.
Oh my god, you have no idea.
Yeah,
I started going for it, right? Because I always do. I look at the trophy list and I'm like, this is pretty easy. So I started going for it. But Matt fell in love with Rocket League, so he was playing it nonstop, which I wasn't. I played it with you guys, but then I stopped playing it. So then I told him, I think one day we're chatting, and I was like, I only have 3 more trophies to go or whatever to platinum. And he's like, oh, which one? So I told him, and he looks like, oh, I got those ones too. And I got the 2 that I needed, so all that's left was collect all the items. Oh, and drive the 100 or 500 kilometers, whatever dumb that was. And so all of a sudden I get a message from this guy. He does it. He drives that, the 500 kilometers or whatever that one was. And then I see the thing come up, and he's like, yeah, I platinumed the game. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean,
I have a question, Luca. Are you an achievement hunter or a trophy hunter?
I can proudly say that I do not have 1 platinum trophy.
Nah.
Loser.
Proud. Yeah, I'm the loser.
Yeah, I don't trophy hunt. I don't think I ever trophy hunt unless they're like FIFA or NHL and they're really simple, like score a goal a certain way.
If it happens, then I'll do it just because it happened.
Well, they'll happen naturally when you play the game.
I mean, they're great.
The only one that didn't was The Last of Us. That aggravated me.
I don't know.
Trophies are great. Like, I think it's a great idea. Achievements. It gives you a reason to play the game.
It gives you something else to do in the game though, outside of the main story. Like it's some of them are a pain in the ass, and you really want to strangle the developers for putting those in. But it's just something fun to do extra on top of the game to really give you like a whole completion.
But I look at that and I'm like, I got to spend all this time like already with the same game when I have like so many other things to do, like watch Maury Povich. Mm-hmm.
See, I have a story to why I stopped achievement hunting and trophy hunting.
Okay, stop saying that. We're not talking about Microsoft right now. So,
well, my story actually takes place on Microsoft, so I'd probably zip it.
Yeah, I know exactly where he's going.
Halo 3 was out, and there was a small community of people that if you changed your matchmaking settings to Portuguese and Brazil, it was a known thing where everyone would go there to achievement hunt and do the trophies and achievements you needed for the online purpose. So you'd go in and then you'd start chatting and everyone would talk about the things they need and you would all work together to get yourselves your achievements.
I'd encourage that as a developer.
And so I was cheating the system. I did the whole 10,000 or whatever it is on Microsoft on the 360 to get the full achievements. And I thought about it and I said, I put in all this effort and I put in all this work to figure out how to get this done. And then there was an update that changed it and added more achievements. I'm like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's good if you could only like afford like a few games a year and, you have to kind of get the most out of your game. But I mean, I'm so backlogged. Thank you, Steam, for having your summer, winter, fall sales, all those.
Just having sales every day of the week.
I'm not. Like, I just buy those games for PlayStation. That's what I have to play. So it gives me something to do with them.
You can beat the original BioShock.
No, I can't. Unless I buy the collection again. Or
Okay.
buy the collection.
Well, I'm just
You haven't beat the original BioShock?
No.
He likes 2.
And you play video games because?
I got stuck at a certain save point because they have the automatic saves in there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what. I had like no health. It was where Big Daddy was, who I engaged and severely pissed off. And
Is he your pimp, Big Daddy?
I had no ammo left in a lot of my weapons, and it was just a shitty save. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get away from it, so I stopped playing it.
So
it pissed me
he'll
off.
dump 100 hours into Final Fantasy. I don't know how. Actually,
Not that many. I think I put maybe like
93?
50 or 60 hours.
Oh, that's not
What
bad.
game have you put the most time in? Would you
Final
say?
Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7?
I've one save that's 96 hours, and I've got 3 different saves with like another 40, another 50.
Like according to Steam, I've put about 140 hours into Fallout. I think I left my account running or leaving the game running. It added to the time, but Fallout 4 I put a lot of time into.
Whatever excuses you need to tell yourself, Luca, we'll believe you. Don't worry.
Well,
Look, I didn't sleep.
To be fair, even with Final Fantasy, a lot of that game was me like that, and anyone who's played it knows what I'm talking about. Driving around from place to place. Sometimes that'll take like 6 minutes, in-game minutes. I'll get to the destination, spend 5 minutes there, spend another 6 minutes driving. So a lot of it's just not even playing the game.
Did that game win Game of the Year at the Dice Awards?
No,
Good.
no, I didn't think it would anyways. But so no, we've been playing a lot. I've been playing a lot lately.
Well,
which is
I
good.
mean, I guess my gaming has been shared between both of you.
Yeah.
We've been playing zombies a lot recently.
Yeah.
On the Infinite Warfare, since the rest of the game is trash.
I'm gonna put a new thing in the podcast.
Is it
A new
trash
rule.
talking Infinite Warfare? Because I'm down to trash.
Let's have one episode where we don't mention Call of Duty.
That's
'Cause
what I thought
every
last episode was going to be with the sports, but I'm like, that's what I joked. I'm like, we somehow always come back to Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
we always mention, but yes,
Although
on the
it
topic
was-
of what we were playing.
It
There's
was a little bit
relevance.
more positive spins when we were talking about it before, although we, shout on the DLC and the same recurring maps all the time. And we're like, no, that's good. The game's good. Yeah, game's good. And then we tried to play yesterday, and so I log on, and I'm waiting for Luca to come on. I'm like,
And I
geez,
had-
man, what the hell's taking wrong? Like,
I had to do the, when you try to start multiplayer or zombies and be like, an update is required, and then it requires a restart.
you must restart.
I did it about 78 times.
Why?
So I did
I
it
was
once,
stubborn.
and I get in. He's like, all right, requires a restart. I'm like, all right. He's like, okay, I got to do it again. I'm like, okay, so do it again. He says, requires another restart. This went on for about, 20 minutes?
It was
He
10
reset
10
his
minutes, and then I reset my system.
restarted the system. Same thing. He tried multiplayer. He tried zombies. He couldn't get out of that loop.
Yep.
And let's just say, he had a tad to drink, and so the conversation that was happening was
allegedly.
I'm
not an alcoholic.
pretty
if that's what
pretty
you're
amazing.
thinking.
It was pretty hilarious.
I would have been angry either way, though. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that would've
How
pissed
many-
me off, too.
How many times have we been playing Call of Duty, and because of the stupid internet
Connectivity?
connection,
Yeah.
that you're getting gunned down by someone in full sprint while you're waiting with your aimer on them?
Hey,
So
man, I give you guys credit though. You guys stick with it. Usually, I'm the first to get off of it and just like I'm done.
I was just waiting because I was in.
Yeah, then Ashton found
I
some-
got in the club. This guy, he didn't come. He came with running shoes, then he came with sweatpants, then his gang bandana.
No.
So they kept on getting.
No, the thing is, I came fully properly dressed, but they just wouldn't let me in. I
'Cause-
adhered to their dress code.
well, apparently it didn't.
No, I did.
I did because I got in no problem.
Lucas
anyways.
sticking it to the man.
So we found
how
a
we found
workaround.
we googled a few things, and I found a workaround where
So stupid.
some guy said, get this, I don't know why this works. So in the Infinite Warfare menu, you load up Modern Warfare,
Yeah, I had to go into Modern Warfare.
do the update, because it asks as well Modern Warfare, do that update in Modern Warfare. Once it's done, go back to Infinite,
Through the Modern Warfare.
through the
menu.
Modern Warfare, so that, like, don't close the game, and then do the update there, it restarts, and it worked. But
It was fun after that.
yeah, that was great after that.
Any
So-
game that needs that much of a step through to be able to play it doesn't sound like fun.
You realize, like, the average person, possibly including myself, would have given up, but Luke was determined to get it to work.
I felt bad because I'm like, Ashton, let's go online. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll go. I called him. Let's go play. And
And it was, that was 11:30 at night, and
I probably should have went to bed.
I could have went to sleep. I was watching the Grand Tour.
Yeah, no, it's,
Have to catch up on there. But no, after that, the game was fun. We got probably the furthest we've done in the Easter eggs, so that was pretty good.
I'm feeling like I should, just because I tried it a couple times, I should be switching to a game like Overwatch that
Mm-hmm.
Matt's let me play, and it's a lot less frustrating.
Yeah.
It's a very good game, and I think we can talk about that touching on the DICE Awards that happened. I
Yeah.
believe, Ashton, you watched it?
I did. So, it is award season. We got the Oscars happening actually right now as we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
DICE Awards happened, oh man, was it yesterday? 2 days ago?
Was it Thursday?
Yeah, I think so. So I watched them. As far as award shows goes, it was pretty good. It was about an hour and 40 minutes. No fluff. Just, the hosts this time around. So this is, well, before we get into that, there was the 20th year, so 20th anniversary for the DICE Awards. And pretty much the DICE Awards, they recognize, video games and pretty much the interactive arts.
Yeah.
So it's part of the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences.
So it has nothing to do with EA Dice that
No.
makes.
No, I thought that at first, too. When
Yeah, I
first
wasn't
heard the
sure, but
DICE
it stands
Awards.
for Design, Innovate, Communicate, and Entertain. That's
a
DICE.
lot more entertaining than.
So this year, being 20 years, was a big one for them. It was hosted by Jessica Chobot, I believe, from the Nerdist. She's one of the hosts, and Greg Miller from Kind of Funny.
Never heard of either of them.
Really?
Yep.
All right. So in terms of hosts, they weren't bad. In host time, they were maybe on stage 3-4 times. It flowed pretty quickly. So for award shows, it was actually a decent one to watch.
I just watched
compared
that
to
intro,
Yeah.
and it didn't look like it was getting off to a great start.
No, it didn't.
I never understood the host in a lot of the award shows. They're barely around. Like, why do you need a host? Why can't you just have
kind of to start it, to set the mood, entertain people halfway through?
Yeah, like Jimmy Kimmel, I'm sure is crushing it tonight with.
But you could have, hear me out. You can have a guy just do the announcing, saying like, "Welcome to the blah blah."
The guy
blah,
doing
blah.
the announcing, by the way, I think was the movie trailer guy.
Yeah, from Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
yeah.
I thought some guy just trying to do that voice.
No, it was great. Listen to him. It's like, I love this guy.
But you have that, and then you can have one comedian come out and do like a quick little monologue and just say, "Hey, it's going to be a great night," because the rest of the time it's just presenters.
Well, that's the thing with this award show. That's what it was. Like I said, they came on stage maybe twice after. So like I agree. That's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really need a host to do it. Just have everyone else kind of keep the flow going. So it was good. I think there was a few surprises in terms of the winners. Nothing like crazy, but where. You got the bigger guys going between Uncharted and Overwatch and Inside.
When I looked at it, it seemed like the list of the nominees and the winners. It seemed like it was heavily with Inside, Uncharted 4, and Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Uncharted had 10 nominations.
Firewatch had a few, which I'm really interested in playing that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that game looks cool.
Yeah.
Game of the year, we'll talk about that, was between Battlefield 1, Doom, Gears of War 4, Overwatch, and Titanfall 2 for action game of the year. Sorry, let me clarify. And so that went to Overwatch.
Damn straight it did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I wish you told me you got rid of your copy, and then I saw like I don't know if it was Black Friday or what, they had it on sale on PSN for like $20.
It was Black Friday, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't get it because I'm like, well, I have no one to play with, and then you pick it up again.
Yeah, because I picked it up originally, and I really liked the game, but it's one of those games that really, really benefits from playing with a group of people, like being able to talk to them.
Like GTA Online.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
it's a team-based game. Every character in the game has a different role and has a different play style, so it works together when you have a set team and you're communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm.
The first time around, I didn't really have anyone to play with, so I didn't quite catch it. It was a fun game. Controls were tight. Everything was good, but again, it just didn't stick with me. It doesn't resonate with me. I ended up talking to a buddy who picked it up, and I was like, okay, I'll give it another go. It was like $20 on sale.
You could have told me you're going to give it another go at something.
And you know what, man? It's been great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time it's on sale, I'm probably.
I played it. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good.
Adventure game of the year went to Uncharted 4. No surprise there, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at the category, you got Firewatch, Inside, King's Quest, The Last Guardian, and Uncharted 4.
I feel like this game. I feel like
very
this
heavily
year last year was a bit weak, all in all, for gaming. Like I hope this year it's already starting out.
Really? You thought this year was weak? Or
Last
like
year?
2016.
Yeah.
I thought 2016 was pretty
I thought
solid.
they had good games, but
Really?
they didn't have many great games.
Well, Uncharted was last
Uncharted
year.
4 was
great.
was
Well, I
good.
got to say that was probably one of the top games because then all the other ones were shooters, though, right?
Overwatch
pretty
was
much.
really good.
See, I never got into Overwatch, but I mean,
Battlefield 1, I know
Yeah, but
we're
again,
not
it's all shooters.
We're not yeah, but that's fine. Overcooked was last year, which was
Yeah.
a great game.
That was.
Rocket League was last year, I
no, it
believe.
wasn't. Rocket League's
No,
been
it
out
was
for some
2015.
Was it 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You got what's its stupid The Last Guardian?
It didn't get. I was hoping for a lot in that game, and I'm let down.
Still-
I'm gonna pick it up when it's cheaper, but right now I can't justify
I
it.
know.
So segueing to Last Guardian for a second here. Game of the year was Overwatch. I'm going all over the place here.
Yeah.
So The Last Guardian, somehow, and mind you, I'm sure it's good, and people who played it like it, but obviously it didn't sell very well at all.
Well, I mean, the reviews weren't glowing, and
no,
the
they
fact that it's
weren't.
making it on this top list shows you how weak I think the year was in general.
Well, this is what's funny. Outstanding achievement in character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Call of Duty, Nick Ray's, Firewatch, Delilah, Firewatch, Henry's. Firewatch had both characters in there, in that category.
Firewatch. I'm.
Uncharted 4, Nathan Drake, and Trico wins that for The Last Guardian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which was
But I mean,
interesting to
how
me
not?
because one of the things that I've heard most people complain about the
Was the
game is
controls.
you tell Trico what to do and he doesn't do it.
No, well, they're talking about the character itself. Like,
But yeah, it's
not
I
how
get
you
it.
interact with the character,
Well,
like
yeah.
as in control wise.
It's a dog. How did it win best character?
Bird Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, have you played it?
No. I'm just asking. Do you know?
I don't know, but when I watched the trailers, what I saw, there was a lot of. It felt like there was depth to the characters, even though they didn't speak much. It felt like there was something there, right?
From what I read from reviews with The Last Guardian, they said it didn't always work. Like Trico, it was a little stubborn at times, but when it worked, it was so rewarding and it was so good and it was so well done.
Yeah,
and I think
that's
that's
a mechanic problem more
and
so
I
Yeah,
than the
that
character.
is a
Yeah.
mechanic problem. You're right.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things they said. Like when it worked, the character and the relationship between the two characters
Yeah.
was the best
And
that
like
they've seen. So
and I love the Uncharted series. Still, 2 is my number one. But Nathan Drake was the more mature Drake this time. He wasn't
Yeah.
as funny. You know, he's worried about his wife and Elena.
responsibility.
Yeah, you know, so he wasn't as fun. Like he wasn't doing like he's like that's you know he's mad at. No, I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, if you haven't played
At this point, you haven't played
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, when Elena, you know, sees that he's not, you know, working, he's going out on another adventure. He's like mad at his brother the whole time, and you know, it's good for like a story, but he's not the fun and enthusiastic Drake as we've seen before.
I guess so.
So I mean, he took a step back in the funness,
Yeah.
but he's maturing, right? And you expect that, especially in potentially his last game.
Right.
So
You know, Last Guardian was also nominated for Outstanding Achievement in Animation.
the animation,
Which is shocking to me.
Yeah,
well, no, I mean that Trico or whatever. He when you watch his trailers alone, his movement was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the feathers and all that stuff.
Uncharted took that home.
Yeah. That game
Uncharted
was incredible.
technically
Visually and technically. That was
technically
a
well made.
masterpiece. Yeah.
It's the only thing is it's for me it's harder to, especially when you get a really good game early on. It's kind of even if they make the game better, it has to be significantly better for me to outdo an older one. So
Yeah. We talked about that. Like I
Yeah.
know, I think number 2 is still probably.
it's
your
my favorite,
right?
but I think you guys are more on the 4 side. right?
I liked how 4 story developed. I just with number 2, at the time, yes, that blew me away. The intro to that game was still one of my favorite intros into a game.
Yeah.
I didn't like all the mystical stuff.
That was the worst
bothered
part.
me.
Yeah, with those like weird like blue guys or whatever it was. That,
yeah,
that was the worst
I
part.
could
of the
do
game.
without that. I
100%.
honestly, that was more like Tomb Raider stuff, and even then, it wasn't amazing in Tomb Raider games.
Do you want to know what the biggest beef about 2 was? You go through all these like caves and everything to get to this crazy place, and you look, it's like open sky above you where you could easily just fly right into if you needed to.
Literally, didn't we talk about this with the Lord of the Rings, where it's like fly you fools? It's exactly
Oh
what he
my
could have
God.
done.
Yeah.
Were we talking about that?
Yeah, I believe so.
I watched it with my wife, and she's not into that movie at all. And this was for the
Well, it's like
this
9
was for
hours.
The Hobbit. Yeah, well, this is for the Hobbit. So I've kind of force fed her the extended versions of the first
Ooh.
3, right? So she wasn't happy with me on that
That's files for
because those are
divorce,
those
bud.
are like 4 hours each.
Yeah, that's file for divorce.
So-
You have a strong marriage.
Somehow I convinced her to watch The Hobbit, and so we're in the movie theater. You know what? I think I'm lying here. I watched it with my dad. I had her watch the original 3.
Okay.
I went to go see it with my dad. This is where my wife comes into play. She hates those movies so much for the fact that there's so much walking. So we're watching this movie, and if we all remember, they hop on those griffins, right? And they're flying. You're like, all right, we're getting somewhere. They're covering ground. They're flying. They finally land. They all regroup, and they're like, okay, where do we got to go? And they look in the distance, and about 200 kilometers away is the fucking mountain that they have to go on.
Yeah.
And they get off the griffins to start walking, and I kid you not. It as clear as day in my head was my wife's voice saying, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I kid you not, that's what I heard. And I'm sitting there, and I now started to think that. I'm like, "Yep, this is stupid. Why didn't they just continue going all the way?
Yeah.
Like, stop and feed the birds. Sure, they need a break maybe, but why are you getting off to walk?"
Because then they can't make a trilogy.
I get that.
But that's exactly what Gandalf alludes to in the Fellowship when he's hanging on. He yells, "Fly, you fools!"
Yeah.
It's because the Griffins owed them something for saving their lives, so they could have just easily have flown.
Yeah. Oh
Toss
my
the
God.
ring in.
Yeah, exactly.
And in whatever the.
It could instead of it
Mordor?
being a 3 trilogy movie, it literally could have been a
movie, yeah.
short story.
The best recap of that movie.
It wasn't mystic at
Yeah.
all. Just they got on a bird, threw a ring in a volcano, and it was done.
The
Yeah,
best
the
summary.
abbreviated form of Lord of the Rings.
The best summary of that movie, I still think, was in Clerks 2.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith summed it up so well about how shitty those movies were. They were good. Don't get me wrong. I say shitty. I enjoyed them, but how terrible they were because they're comparing Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, and it was true. He learns like here's the Fellowship of the Ring, and he walks. Here's the Twin Towers. He walks, stops, and picks something up. Here's the third movie. Takes the ring off and tosses it in. That's all it is. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great trilogy though.
Oh yeah,
It is the first. I didn't like The Hobbit, but I did enjoy
The Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. And one of the things I enjoyed about it was the sound. They did a great job with sound.
It was a well made.
Yeah,
It's
overall everything. Yeah, he's
And the sound was great in it. And according to Dice Awards, the achievement in sound was Battlefield 1.
I
Yeah.
have yet to play it, so
You know what? A part of me wants to play it. Do you still have it?
No.
I
You know why? In my defense, there were way too many shooter games out that I wasn't going to get to.
well,
So
Merry Christmas, Matt. I'm glad you enjoyed my gift.
I was gonna say, just give it back to.
I put it towards the Switch, so if Luca makes it feel better, we're going to have a Switch to play together. Mario
He kinda
Kart?
wants to play Battlefield right now.
That's cool. That's cool. No,
Okay, fine. I'll buy Battlefield just to give it to
no,
him.
it's good.
alright.
No, actually, I have a friend who bought an Xbox One S, and EB had a promotion because he switched from the regular one to the S. So he got Battlefield 1 with it, and he doesn't want to play it because he's just like straight sports guy. He's
Take
one of
it.
those guys
It's-
that played sports games all the time at my place. And
It's
he's
look,
like, yeah,
it's a great. It's
I'll
a
play
good
the campaign.
game.
I'll play the campaign. I don't know. if I'll play
I
online.
heard the campaign is awesome. The multiplayer is it depends if you like
I
that
mean,
style.
yeah, if you like, look, I'm sure if like I learned all the nuances of it, maybe I'd enjoy it more. But
Yeah.
what was it? We're playing Battlefield 4, right, Matt? Back in when it came out, and I just didn't enjoy it too much. Like, it seems really cool.
There's people that love it. They'll
Yeah.
praise that game, but yeah, it's something if it's for you or not.
Maybe it's a realism thing where when you're trying to, like, I have a guy in my sights like 30 feet away, not even. And in Call of Duty, I mow him down like nothing. In this game, it's like my bullets are missing him. And maybe that's more realistic, but
They'll probably say that, yeah.
if I had a gun in real life, and if I'm missing on my own accord, that's different. I don't need a computer to kind of tell me, oh, you weren't set properly, so I don't know.
I will say you can have a lot of fun in Battlefield 4. There's some fun things you can do. Like if you're playing Conquest and you're trying to detonate a little section of the map, the building, you can put C4s on a car and drive the car into the building, jump out and let it explode.
That's cool.
It's
No,
pretty
it's-
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a
Grand
little
Theft Auto.
slower paced, right? Like, it'd be if you like respond quicker and can get to the fight. Maybe you can. Maybe I just didn't learn how to play it properly, but I've heard it's a slower pace than
Yeah.
Call of Duty, and I've experienced it that way. So
Well, overall, the like I said, the Dice Awards were good. It's nice to see an award show like that obviously is about video games, and they praise video games and what we do, and recognize it, and it was good. So it's a decent watch.
there's
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
Pokemon Go
Yep.
was
Yeah.
nominated for, I think it was handheld game of the year.
It won.
Or
Did
no,
it
that
win?
was Pokemon Sun and Moon. That was
yeah,
nominated.
Pokemon Sun and Moon won the handheld, but
Held-
there was a
No,
Mobile
Pokemon
game of the year.
Go. Yeah.
Mobile
is
game of the
is
year.
that what it was?
Yes.
I thought it was.
And I was wondering, I literally think I'd put Pokemon Go as the game of the year that
No.
summed up 2016.
You know what though? I mean,
And the
you
reason
had a
I'll,
lot of people.
yeah,
gaming.
the reason I'll say that is the amount of people that got on Pokemon Go and the craze that it started was crazy.
But there's
It's
so
not a
many
video game.
aspects to make it the game of the year. Like one thing that
By sheer numbers and people
Yeah,
playing
but I
It's
mean,
it,
like
like-
more than
it's
that.
like- it's
That's
like
the
saying
thing with
Flappy
mobile
Bird.
games, though. Yeah, it's like Angry Birds and all that stuff. Like you got millions of people playing. It doesn't mean the game's amazing.
I know, but when I look back at 2016 and I think of what was the biggest game of that year, I'm going to say Pokemon Go
It
for
was
the
the biggest,
sheer.
but was it the best?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's-
I think the fact that it got people going out and like walking around, getting people going together and doing things was actually wicked.
There's a
I
game
don't
that
think-
came out before that, but it wasn't as flashy. It was called Google Maps.
Yeah, but there was no reason for me to
Exactly.
go.
So
But
all
you
they did
s-
was add something where I can flick my thumb and
you got to
then
remember,
I
look
catch
at
something.
the thing that it was doing. There's videos of people stopping cars
But there
in New
wasn't
York
much to
going
the-
out to catch Pokemon.
There was not saying there was much to the game. I'm sure it took a while to develop,
was-
but there's not much to that game.
Well, I mean, if there's an award for most popular game, that would definitely
yeah,
be
but
considered.
that's not game of the year. Like if any of the other developers are listening to you saying that should have been game of the year, they're like, what the hell?
I'm not saying
It's
it should have, I'm
encouraging,
not saying it
just-
should have been. I'm just saying when I look back and I think of the game of the year of 2016, when I look back and go, someone goes in 2016, what was the biggest game of the year? I'm gonna go Pokemon Go. I'm gonna say that was the thing that game was massive. The amount of money it generated, everyone was playing it. People were going out.
Yeah,
I had
that's like-
friends calling me up on a Friday saying, "Hey, are you playing Pokemon Go? You want to go Pokemon Go hunting?"
That's
I
like
was like,
saying
"I'm not
Candy
playing
Crush
it."
is the game of the year. You know how much money that generated? How many people played that when that came out?
Hey,
Doesn't your brother still play that?
yes, he
He
does.
still plays it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Pokemon Go was massive.
It was the most popular game.
I'm not saying it's
The
the
most
best
popular.
game.
Well, that's what we're saying. The best
Yeah.
game of the
Yeah,
year.
I'm not
Game
saying
of the
it's
year.
the best
Oh, he's
game.
saying game of the year. So that's. So
I'm
it depends how
saying-
you interpret it.
I'm saying game of the year. If someone comes up to me on the street and goes, "Hey, bud, if you had to look back at 2016 and you had to tell me what was the game of the year," I'm not going to go, "Oh, the Dice Award, it was probably Overwatch." I'd say Pokemon Go.
So maybe. They
Okay,
should
hold
do
on. You know
different.
what? I'm going to put my foot in my mouth here. To your credit, it was in there for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
So it's Battlefield 1, Inside Overwatch, Pokemon Go, and Uncharted 4 were for Game of the Year. Kudos to you. All
And
right.
that's what I'm saying. I think
I'll
Pokemon
I'll admit
Go.
when I'm wrong. All right. Good for you.
Pokemon Go, I think would
it's
have
a
been the
rarity.
game.
Enjoy this. Ashton's admit. No. You know what? Okay, so now the thing is, it's all in definition.
Son of a bitch.
It's all on the definition of game of the year, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going best game of the year, it's not the best game of the year.
No,
but if
it's
you want to
not.
talk about the game that had a lot of buzz around it, that people were flocking towards,
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I remember in the summer going up to Collingwood and Blue Mountain, and everyone was running around Blue Mountain looking for Pokemon. I hadn't seen
While I
a
was
craze.
driving up to the cottage country with you and
Yeah.
Sabrina.
Yeah, absolutely. There was
In the
a
car,
giant-
we're
Oh, that's
cheating.
right.
Yeah. There was a giant push towards Pokemon Go. I hadn't seen a game create that much buzz.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is fair. It because game of the year doesn't say best game. Like,
No, but it was nominated for Game of the Year.
and you know what? They got it right though. They got it right to nominate it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I don't think rewarding that, because then you just start thinking, what are developers gonna do then? They're
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna start pushing towards those. These games that get old pretty quick.
Look, I'm not against Overwatch winning it because Overwatch has a massive community. Like
Yeah.
if you go on Reddit, it's one of the top
It's
subreddits.
always on the front page
Yeah,
for
like
Reddit.
Yeah.
it has a great PC community, PlayStation community. It's a great thing, and I think why Overwatch won it was because there was a lasting power. I think Pokemon Go kind of died off.
Yeah.
Like people still play it, but it wasn't as lasting as Overwatch.
Overwatch also had the the adult film industry in there. I don't think there was one for Pokemon Go.
Oh, there was 100%.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Pokemon.
You want to Google that?
I don't because I don't want people looking at my internet search history going,
It
why?
was called Pokemon Blue.
Yeah. That's likely what it was.
Well, one thing I got to say, what I liked about the whole Dice Awards is how they come to the conclusion of who gets nominated. So I'm probably going to botch this, but actually, if you watch the Dice Awards, they actually explain the voting process.
Oh, yeah?
So they actually get people that like to play those type of games.
Oh,
So
that makes sense.
If you're going for best action adventure, you get a team of 5 people that are there. I think there's 20,000 people part of the community.
Okay.
So you get out of those 20,000 people for Adventure Game of the Year, people who love adventure games,
Okay.
and they have to play all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way they can decide, okay, I'm a guy that likes these games, so I'm going to like these.
Okay.
Out of these 5, which was my favorite?
Mm-hmm.
So then they choose. Then from that tally, it goes to another group of people, I think, that looks at all their top picks, and I think they're the ones that kind of arrange it and say, okay, based on what they said, is who gets nominated and who wins.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that.
Yeah. No,
And
it makes
then,
sense. Unlike
with
reviewers.
well, that's the thing, right? With reviews, one of the biggest things that bother me is people who don't like playing certain types of games or don't play video games put reviews out there and trash good games or potentially good games.
Oh, but then they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. I remember reading a review. Then again, I haven't played Battlefield 1, but I remember reading a Battlefield 1 review, and it got like a really high score.
Right.
I think a little bit too high. They made it seem like it was the best shooter that's come out in the last like 20 years.
And to that person, it could have been, right?
Well, what I'm saying is it seemed like the person just read all the cliche things about it. It's like more realistic, and there's a good pace that's, not so arcadish like Call
Right.
of Duty. They listed all the cliche reasons to like Battlefield and made it seem like it was revolutionary in that sense. And then that's why I got this great review. I feel like they're just listening to other people's opinions, didn't form their own opinion.
So I have the. You're right, and you've seen that before, and I know I've seen that. So here's something crazy for you critics and reviewers out there. What I think they should do to really get a good understanding of movies, and we'll stick to games now, is you have one person who loves that genre play it. they review it.
Absolutely.
You then have someone who doesn't necessarily like that genre play the game. So you then take the average of the two scores that they give.
Yeah, or no. I think I think this is how you should do it. I think you should have, if let's say it's a third-person action adventure game like Horizon Zero Dawn that's coming out. You have someone who likes those type of games like a Gears of War or Uncharted, and they review it, and then you know this is a guy who likes these. Like you have a list of what games they like Uncharted and whatever Gears.
Absolutely.
Then you have the guy who doesn't like a third-person game, so. Now, if I don't like these third-person adventure games, I'm going to see what this guy says. Because if this guy's blown away by it, even though he doesn't play these games typically, I'm going to give it a shot because I don't like third-person.
That's what I just said.
Well, you said take the average score between the two.
Well, if you're going to make a score, though, right? If you're a website or a company that's, okay, this is what we do. We're going to review games. To the whole point of you're either going to be super biased because I love these types of games, I'm going to give it 100.
No, I think
when really it's not. Or then you have someone who plays it, doesn't like those kind of games, gives it a 50 because they don't like those kind of games. So they should take the average of the two scores or find a way to, do that.
See, I think people should take Kotaku's avenue on how they review games. Get rid of the score, because I know a lot of people tend to look towards scores, and there tends to be a lot of subjective viewpoints in reviews.
Right.
Kotaku, what they do is they get someone to review the game. They don't give it a score. All they say is either would they recommend the game or wouldn't recommend the game. And I like that because it comes down to saying as simple as I recommend someone should play this game because it's a good game and they might like it. Or, the game wasn't that good. I personally wouldn't recommend it. And I like that. It's a simple taking a suggestion from the review and the writing that they do. And they determine it by a simple, yes, you should play this. I would recommend it to you guys because it's a good game. Or no, it wasn't a very good game. I wouldn't recommend it.
But what's not going to go is like things like Metacritic. So those are score based.
Yeah.
And
is
so
Metacritic
that's kind of
like Rotten Tomatoes or that
Yes,
takes
it
the
is.
average. No, it takes the average of all the reviews. The Rotten Tomatoes, as we talked a few podcasts ago.
Rotten Tomatoes basically
If it's
takes,
good, yes, or bad, no.
Yeah,
Right?
and
That's what it is.
That's how it is. How many positive reviews?
Right.
Give it. So it's a percentage of how many are favorable for it
Is that what
towards
it is?
against it. Where
Yeah.
Metacritic, it takes the
Average
it's a
scores.
number. It's
Yeah.
an average score and average out. But that's what I'm talking about. So if you're going to do that, if you're one company website, whatever, reviewing it,
No, I think you
critiquing
take-
it,
I think you take
I think you need both.
No, I think what you need to do with, like, let's say,
And that's why I said take the average.
I don't say take the average. I take the person who likes that type of game. Because why am I, if I'm looking at a specific game, I'm going to have to be drawn to it, like sports game.
Yeah, but
Why are
again,
you gonna
that's
take, like, a
kind
guy
of
who
that's
doesn't- No, but
being
what-
skewed all the way to then most
but-
games are going to be always
Question to you.
100%.
Question for you. If you don't play sports games, just because it got a good review doesn't mean you're going to play it. The good review is going to come from a guy who likes sports games. And
Yeah.
I understand that. But if a guy likes to play, those real-time strategy games, I don't want his opinion on that game to factor in on it.
No, you're right on there. You're right with that. Like, and where this is coming from is Horizon Zero Dawn
Yeah.
is coming out Tuesday, February 28th.
I'm not trying to know much about the game.
I will spoil it all right now.
I think you're in the same boat as I am.
I am, yeah. So
all three of us are.
I think we're all getting it.
Thank you,
I'm-
Amazon Prime, for the discount.
I'm looking forward
Amazon
to it.
Prime.
Yeah.
And so I decided to, outside of the videos, which I haven't watched a lot, I've listened to a few podcasts, people talking about it, non-spoiler type reviews. I wanted to go and see, okay, what kind of scores is it getting? So I started going to Metacritic and reading it. And overall, it's getting really good reviews. So majority of them are hundreds, 90s. You have a few 80s.
I usually like IGN's review system.
Yeah.
They got a 9.3 on IGN.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metacritic right now,
Is that
it's sitting
88?
at 88 out of 100.
Yeah. So the three worst scores were two 70s and a 50. Everything above that's an 80.
Yeah,
80
Destructoid
and
gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Edge gave it a 9 out of 10. EGM, 9 out of 10. Game Informer, 8.75 out of 10.
Yeah.
GameSpot, 9 out of 10. Games Radar, 4.5.
Yeah.
So across the board, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah. The thing is, we're talking about this, and my one concern, Guerrilla Games makes it, and
Yeah.
they make very pretty games, and it looks pretty.
Yeah, some guys that made Killzone.
Yeah, and
Right, and
Killzone's
that's
a
what
good
we're- that's what we're
game,
getting
not a great game.
I didn't like Killzone.
And now it's third-person action adventure, so that changes the game completely because
Yeah.
it was a first-person. I'm going to give it an honest chance, but I'm a little. I think it's better to go in the way I am mentally prepared for this game. I'm not crazy excited about it anymore.
Yeah, me either. But
and
I'm in a weird funk right now. I'm just not very into video games at the moment.
No.
I've been doing a lot of reading and just sports watching.
What's reading?
I'm not sure. I'm trying it out.
There's these like symbol things apparently, and they turn out to be words. I don't understand the logic on that.
Where do you find them?
What do you mean symbols?
There's like these like
I have to touch the book to feel the bumps to determine what it says.
there's symbols that you can
I
actually.
think they call it Braille.
You didn't know of this written text.
No such thing.
Your life's about to change, my friend.
I don't think so. Telling
So-
me I could have been looking at these letters and determining what they meant, not
No wonder
touching
you're
them.
struggling with this. Like, guys, I can't figure this out.
So every time I've talked about my grade 3 reading levels, because I was feeling the words instead of just reading the words.
But you should feel the words. Isn't that the point of reading?
Ooh, that's deep.
You gotta
I
feel
think we
the
should
words.
even just end our podcast on that.
I'm
That's
gonna
it.
call
Jesus.
from
Where's
now
the mic so I
on.
could drop it?
From right
Well,
on.
I think Mike might have been dropped. That's why we're having problems with the audio levels.
I think from now on, Ashen's name will be Full Throttle Aristotle.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So getting back to Horizon, I one thing that I was hoping to read, and again, I didn't go deep into the reviews. I kind of read the Metacritic, the brief synopsis of each reviewer.
Okay.
So I wasn't saying too much. One thing I was trying to find is anyone having a connection or relating it to what the other games Guerrilla Games worked on, such as Killzone.
Yeah.
No one did. So I was kind of like, okay. I was hoping someone's going to touch on it. Well, man, what's the friggin' trying to? All right.
Consensus?
Thank you. The consensus I found was people love the graphics. Visually, it says it's amazing, especially on the PS4 Pro. There's a few patches coming out day one that will
There will be like a
enhance it.
performance mode versus a like graphic mode.
Right.
That's
And
how you know a game has made it, when it has a day one patch. If your game doesn't have a day one patch, it's not really a video game.
There's that.
I want to talk about that actually just quickly because I read up the performance mode doesn't push it past 30 frames per second. It doesn't unlock the frame rate.
Good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just helps in those. Apparently, there's brief moments where the frame rate might dip slightly when you have the 4K running.
Yeah.
They decide they're basically just gonna. It keeps it closer to 30 frames per second as opposed to the few little dips on 4K, which for me that's not worth it if it's like
Right.
the tiniest little dips.
So that was, overwhelming through most of the reviews. And then the story, overall, the majority of the people said that was really good. But you know what? Again, mostly positive reviews.
Okay, so I think the problem with Horizon Zero Dawn for me is why I'm not as excited is I'm hearing incredible things about the new Zelda game.
Good. Way
Like-
to bring that up.
No,
'Cause I was gonna ask that
I'm
question.
not. I know we're probably supposed to talk more about Horizon Zero Dawn, but
No,
this
it's all right,
Zelda,
so-
I'm
No,
so
no,
excited.
I
for.
actually wrote down in the notes a question. I was saying Zero Dawn, Horizon, or Zelda. Which one are we more excited for? And I think I'm on the Zelda side because it comes with the Switch. I'm excited to get my hands
you're
on the
getting
Switch.
it with the Switch. It doesn't come with the Switch.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Okay. Point being is it's going to come out with the Switch. I'm going to get it.
You're such a stickler.
Yeah, he's full throttle Aristotle over here.
I know.
I'm excited for it. I really want to sink my teeth into the new Zelda because there'll be a familiarity. I kind of know what to expect, but it's going to be on a Switch where I can take it anywhere with me.
You know what though? I think
Like
in
the
the shitter.
bathroom. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about that,
you
man.
guys are way too excited to play video games on the can.
Dude, how often?
That being said, I will be sitting on the can.
Exactly. How often are you sitting there going, man, I really got to go to the washroom? And you're like, I don't want to pause right now.
Yeah.
The Switch is like, great, let me just lift up my tablet, put my controller things on it, and I'm
Yeah.
going to go poop while playing.
Well, you have to
I
because
would
the
hope
number
so.
the number one is going to be tricky, right?
You're standing.
I guess you have to
could
sit. You'd have to sit.
You don't want to do that.
The standing
your
one while
your
you're
dignity goes out the window when you do that.
Yeah, I don't know how
Well-
good the accuracy is when you both hands are on the switch. And
I
you're
guess this will
standing
be an
there.
unwritten rule for bathroom etiquette.
That could be
Right.
which we'll probably talk about on Wednesday on
I
a
like it.
separate podcast.
Which also means you both have to try it and see if it works.
Oh my
I'm
god!
gonna make a
I'm
mess.
Literally, I wonder if Nintendo's gonna have to open like a kiosk for damaged Switch issues.
Oh man, those
Like
repair
water
guys,
damage, yeah.
they're gonna like E. coli all over those consoles or whatever you call some messed up stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? Obviously, for me, it's Horizon. I do want to see Zelda, guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Zelda. It's a great series. I do enjoy Nintendo, but I am looking forward to Horizon. Hi,
I
I
have
am
a
looking
Called
forward
it
to
a
Horizon.
Nintendo. Don't.
You're excited for Zero Dawn Horizon. Now is that
Horizon
in
Zero
any
Dawn, Matt.
whatever
Come on, you gotta get it right.
same thing? I don't care. I'm gonna call it
Zero
what I call it.
Horizon Dawn.
Now, are you excited
Zero
for
Horizon.
it because you're wearing a PlayStation shirt and you're a fanboy,
I
or
am
Oh,
today.
actually, yeah, I didn't
I
even
am
notice
today.
that. Is that why you unzipped in the middle of the podcast?
No, the zipper was rubbing up against the mic. It was
Okay.
making funny noises. I like showing you my chest. No, it's I wasn't honestly when they showed Horizon for the first time. I think what was it? Was
2015
it
E3?
Was it
Yeah.
2015?
So when they showed it for the first time, I'm sure we were talking. I know I was talking to Luca.
I wasn't excited.
We looked at this. I'm like, this robot dinosaur is like, wow, this
Really? I
doesn't
thought it
look
looked
great.
cool.
I didn't. Not saying it didn't look.
wannabe.
Hey man, Skynet.
I didn't say it didn't look like cool, but like it didn't engage me, and I was like, all right, neat. It like okay, cool
Did
idea.
you actually
but
say neat?
yeah, I was
That's
like, hey,
sweet.
Luca,
I
this
mean, it
this
looked
is neat.
good. I mean, it looked
But
pretty.
I wasn't impressed. And then later on, a few more things came out of it. I'm like, okay, still all right. Looks interesting. Again,
You're on
Guerrilla
my
Games,
radar.
right? Guerrilla Games. I'm like, hey, they did Killzone. I was a fan of Killzone, so let's see how this goes. Then pretty much up until literally a few weeks ago.
So when the reviews came out,
Before no, not when the reviews came out. Probably up to a few weeks ago, where the Nerding Nest, my buddy was talking to me about the game, and he loved it. He loves everything about it. So he started explaining a bit more about it.
Did you
I'm
get an advanced copy or something?
No, he didn't. He just everything he's been following up
Okay,
on it,
okay.
videos. Like he's telling me more and not going too much because he sometimes he likes to spoil things for me. But he's a good guy.
I would love to see that conversation.
Oh.
You like getting ready to hang up at any moment he mentions something.
So he's excited about it. Got me intrigued. And then, I listened to another podcast, Kind of Funny, and I'm listening to Greg and Colin, and they got advanced copies of it, which they couldn't talk to for a while because of the embargo, so they were quiet about it. But then they did a spoiler-free review, a review on it.
who
Kind of Funny.
is this?
So Greg and Colin.
Matt, you know who
Greg
they are. Matt,
Miller.
Matt, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
Quit being an asshole. And so once I listened to their spoiler-free review, that really, honestly, that's what got me engaged in this game. Listening to them talk about it, just for the fact that they put it at the same level, if not above, Uncharted 4 for them in terms of overall gameplay and
Well,
what they prefer. And I know, at the time, Greg Miller was a massive Uncharted 4 fan. Like, that was his game of the year last year. And they both played it, and hands down, no hesitation, they said, this is better than that game.
Well, I mean, there's
And
something.
that got me interested.
There's something with the game when it's a whole new story and all that
Yeah.
that you're gonna like.
A new
it.
IP.
A new IP when if it executes at the same level as Uncharted 4, you're gonna like it better because you know Nathan Drake already. There's no
Right.
surprises with him. So,
But the story's still got to be good, so it's
No, it has to be,
captivating
yeah.
enough that they are interested in the character,
If Uncharted
the
4
world,
if if Uncharted 4 was the first Uncharted I played, I would be probably going nuts over it. The only thing was I had the older ones to compare it to, so it's kind of like it has to be exponentially better, not just
Right.
better. So that's where I'm going with the whole Horizon Zero Dawn is a new story, it's
Yeah.
a new character, and you're learning so much in it.
That's true. So honestly, that's listening to them kind of just talk about it, not spoiling anything. That really set me off. I said, okay, you know what? I got to try this thing. And also, I'm not gonna lie, the fact that Greg Miller mentioned that he's about 40 hours in and close to the platinum. I'm gonna platinum this game.
Okay.
So that's gonna be my.
and I
next
think
one.
you're probably more excited for that over Zelda's because you're not going to be getting Zelda. Is
No.
that no?
No, I'm not getting Zelda.
So this is something I read today, Matt. This is not between me and Matt because
Sure.
you don't care about this.
I'll just sit here quietly.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
turn-
you do that,
your turn.
Aristotle.
Go ahead, guys.
So what I heard was people playing the game. They're like, we're actually dying. Like it's challenging. Like every Zelda, you don't honestly.
So it's like the water temple 95% of the time.
no, it's not annoying. Like
Just
as
because
in
you
like,
sucked at the water temple
Honestly.
doesn't mean
No, it's known as one of the most annoying temples and hardest temples in all of
I
Zelda.
had no problem with it.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I had a little bit, but I mean,
Thank
it wasn't something that I'm going to bring up like it's a terrible thing.
I could probably name a handful of side quests that were way far more annoying.
Regardless, the new Zelda, it seems like they've actually learned from the games that have come out in the last 10 years. They're not just putting their head down and doing Nintendo things. Like,
Like
apparently
One, Two,
it's a
Switch.
massive... You got to drop that because you're going to be the one who likes it the most. He's going to like be like,
Gotta go
"Dude,
buy
I'm going to
a
buy it.
Switch."
I'm going to buy a 1-2 Switch. Can I come by and play?
Samurai game, amazing. Shave our mustaches now.
But like apparently it's a big open world and they say there's like not many... it's not like just a bunch of open areas so you have nothing to do. Apparently, it's dense too,
Right. Yeah, there's not a lot of restrictions on where you can go, from what I hear.
and it's densely populated. It's not just like open world in a big
massive
map
field.
just to be a big map.
Right.
I really feel like we're gonna get the Switch. We're gonna be getting our teeth into Zelda, and we're gonna love it, and we're gonna be talking about it. We're gonna be pumping it up, and Ashton's gonna be over here like Donnie yelling fake news, boring,
Yeah,
on with the
damn
next
right,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what's gonna
It'd
happen.
be like you guys are just part of that stupid Nintendo media.
Yeah.
Spreading lies and rumors.
And the thing is, so I guess we'll eventually be reviewing both games, Zelda
Right.
and Horizon Zero Dawn, or as Matt calls it, Zero Dawn Horizon. But now the question is, Zelda comes out so shortly after Horizon Zero Dawn. You're gonna have to you're gonna sink your teeth into Horizon Zero Dawn. And
Yep.
I'm going away next weekend.
Yeah, but you're
right
not-
after we get the Switch, which we should be
Poor
doing
time to choose go away.
First off, we're gonna open the Switch. We're gonna make maybe even a video.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a podcast.
Who knows?
The day of, and then
Let's
I'm gonna
get crazy.
and then I'm gonna bring my Switch portably on my trip. I'm gonna use it for its intended purpose.
As you're driving?
He could. There's probably an attachment eventually that'll come out.
He doesn't own a Tesla.
He'll be able to put it on his steering wheel and play.
That'll be the new attachment that Nintendo
Look,
makes.
maybe I might let the co-pilot drive sometime too,
All right. Fair enough.
and then I'll be away. And before I go to bed, maybe drop an hour into Zelda.
When you're dropping the deuce, drop another hour into Zelda.
Who the hell takes an hour of shit?
I need
My
at least
God.
2 hours.
Well, wow. I will say the best ideas do come while you're on the shitter, though.
Okay, hold on. You're gonna go in there for 15 minutes with the system to play it, and
Yeah.
that's it.
No, I'm usually a half hour.
Okay,
Half hour.
Yeah.
I was
but I'm
joking
sure
about
with
2.
such an open world like
No,
Zelda,
about
half
half
hour, you're
hour,
not
I
gonna
can
get
say-
anything
I
done.
can hit about 15 minutes.
I read a lot
After
of
that, my
news-
legs go numb.
I read a lot of news on the shitter.
Real news or fake news?
I don't know anymore. Everything's fake news.
Pretty
according-
much.
Yeah.
The internet lies.
Clickbait, fake news.
That's
All right.
it. 15 minutes?
That's like max.
Your-
Don't tell me you can sit
Your
longer
legs
than-
go numb?
I have problems, all right? I don't need to go into my personal health, okay?
What's also funny is almost every podcast, Luke has mentioned he has problems.
I'm not a perfect person. I can admit my problems.
People are going to think Luke is dying
Why am I laughing so much at that?
because the prospect of it's funny, you jerk.
It's great, yeah. Lucas in pain also.
So
So
15
what
minutes.
else do you want to pick on about my personal health, my hygiene? What else do you want to rip?
I'm not gonna lie, I spend a lot of I can spend a lot of time in there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I felt guilty like being on it for like 10 to 15 minutes.
It's
You
your
know
place
what?
away from everything. That's why it's so good.
it's kind of my time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's my time.
So this is what we have to look forward to if we get married
Yeah,
and have a family.
Did
Sitting on the toilet. That's your highlight
that's,
of the day.
that's how you lock the world away.
I have a question. Did anyone play Majora's Mask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys beat it?
No, because there's this one quest that I had to be like on the end of the second day, and I know there's like a song you can play, but I kept failing at it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and then I got mad.
So when you don't succeed at first, try, and if you still don't succeed, just give up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I do.
All
that's the
right.
point of keep
Yeah.
on trying.
Look, it's a very simple method to my badness. Aim low and avoid disappointment.
Yeah,
All right.
the lesson is you shouldn't have tried in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got it.
Homer Simpson said it, and I think he was dead on.
Yeah.
Homer Sampson.
Samson.
Samson.
So, yeah, we're gonna unveil the Switch. Well, on our podcast because it's been unveiled multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, like, is Nintendo giving everyone that has a YouTube channel except us this Switch?
Yeah, pretty
Because
much.
like there's no surprise anymore. Like I'm looking just on my YouTube feed, and then they have like Nintendo Switch unboxing, and they were like show like that right after. You know when you open the box, the first thing you see, I already know what it is.
Oh, I know nothing. I feel like I'm living under a rock. I don't know. What
Well,
the
you
box
said
looks
all you've
like.
been doing is reading.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've been reading a book.
yeah. The internet's not in a book, Matt. So of course you didn't see anything if that's all
Yeah,
you've been
it's
doing.
great. It's a genius thing.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
That's why you haven't
Why does
seen
it sound like you're not?
Yeah, because that's action for you.
I remember
We are
a
getting
time-
along, okay, guys?
I remember a
You guys are
time
my
where
friends.
Hey, we have 15 views on a video, guys. We're climbing up in the world.
I remember a time where IGN was one of the few places that you saw like early unboxings, right? Because that's what they did, and it's now literally, you're right, with at least the Switch. Because for the Pro didn't get out there. I don't think Sony sent it out. Even with the VR,
I mean, it was
like VR at Sony, I don't think sent out a lot. If they did, then I don't know if it was under an embargo, but not a lot of people showed it that I've seen early. But the Nintendo Switch just happens to be everywhere.
well. I think
Twitter,
they're learning how to
YouTube,
market
it's-
this time around.
Yeah, well, they have to.
Someone went in with a whiteboard and put this giant M and marketing and circled
Advertise.
Give to everybody.
it. Commercial.
Money plus advertising equals success.
Literally, they'd like put commercial Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did
Let
anyone,
people know this console is coming out.
Did anyone notice? And I read this on Reddit and I laughed because I actually went back and looked at it on the recording. But after the Nintendo Switch commercial played, the entire game switched in the NFL. The Patriots just started coming back right after that commercial.
Man,
Wow.
no one in Atlanta wants that system anymore.
Nope.
Wow,
Number
no.
one seller in New England, though.
Someone's
Yeah.
gonna buy that console in Atlanta and just burn it with a Tom Brady jersey. The
I'm-
game worn one that's still missing.
Is it still missing?
I don't know. I assume so.
All right.
It's fake news.
You know, they could just make another one and say this was it, and people believe it. Anyways, moving on. I know I'm very curious to see it. So yeah, we're going to record the podcast while literally setting it up, opening it out, I think, and seeing it for the first time, first thoughts.
Since
And
you have no experience doing this video, it'll probably be a terrible sounding podcast, but it'll be
it's gonna
entertaining
be great.
video.
It'll be entertaining.
Entertaining video. I plan to wear pants to this one.
Damn it.
Fake news. Shouldn't wear pants.
Short shorts?
Whatever you actually, if you wear shorts, there's a lot more room for activity.
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
you could probably get down a lot deeper when you
Yeah,
try to like, bend down.
exactly.
Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the funniest podcasts I heard
Was ours.
Bill Burr do
Oh,
was
way to promote someone else.
Right, I know. He had his
That's all he does.
he had his wife on the
Kinda
show.
funny.
Right? He had his wife on the show, which usually happens. But apparently all he was wearing was a robe and nothing else. So every now and then, like, he'll be shifting and you can hear his wife react to him shifting about telling him to go put pants on or cover up. It was hilarious. It was good. So
So next week we'll be in robes.
so no, I am curious to see it. I want it to impress me. Again,
What
like,
does-
hold on, like, your hopes are where your bar is for Horizon.
Yeah.
That's kind of where mine is for Nintendo. It's not
That's
there.
fair.
You know, there's things about it that I hope it does well in. I really hope it's a good system. But we'll find out.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly I didn't think it'd be a big issue, but the whole portability of it is a legit console. Like the games we're getting year after year on each console, it's not like Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64, right? So I mean, yes, it's going to be underpowered by today's standards, but it's still a very pretty. It's a legit console. It's going to
Right.
have legit games. Now I'm hearing like even developers are starting to. Even the ones that you would think wouldn't be coming to the Switch are starting to talk about it. Like I'm hearing potential. There's a rumor of a maybe Mass Effect potentially making its way to the Switch,
Really?
the most current one. It just depends. I guess I think they're using the Dice engine or whatever it is,
Right.
or the Frostbite engine. Sorry, and if that can go over well on it. But I know Unreal Engine works really well on it. Is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. I am curious to see Zelda. I like to see us play it and, see how it is when you dock it and it goes on the TV, take it off and
I'm surprised.
undock it. And
Me and Matt knew. We started thinking when you started talking about docking. I'm like,
Ashton, of course, would want to watch it get docked.
what are you saying?
I'm
You're
surprised
into
we,
docking.
What are you
I'm
saying?
surprised we took this long to get into
Yeah,
the topic
you-
of docking.
You love the docking, Ashton.
What are you
Kids,
doing?
go Google it.
What are you doing to me?
We're just talking about how you enjoy docking. There's nothing wrong with it.
I think we said that last time, and I think we all agreed who doesn't enjoy good docking every once in a while.
We're
Yeah.
gonna every time anyone uses the term docking, we're gonna be 5-year-old children and just go off on a tangent on it.
So, yeah, you know what? Big week next week. Horizon, Switch. We're going to review both. So I think it's going to be good.
Okay, Matt, I
Yes.
say we go right now. We get Overcooked, show Ashton the game. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I'm done. Why not?
All right.
So we're gone gaming. So we're gone gaming. So we're gone gaming. So we're gone gaming. So we're gone gaming.